My third in my Haiku how-to series, I'm going to be going into how to create events and assignments for your calendar. Again, this is basically an online version of your syllabus that will feed into a direct feed to all your students' portals and their calendars. The reason we want people to use a calendar function is that will really streamline for students where they're going to get their information about what is due on any specific day. So to create a calendar item, you're going to click on the calendar tab right here. And once you do, you can wait. And there we go. This has a very much a Google iCal look. I'm going to move to September, where I have my September 2013. Now, as in other places in the Haiku, you can use buttons on the top left to add assignments or add events. The third thing that you can add is something called an announcement. I do use these, but oftentimes I just want to go right to the day that I am adding something, so I'll just double click on that day. So on the 9th, our first day of classes, I'm going to be doing course expectations. So when I double clicked, this dialog window came up, and again I just clicked in and started typing. I'm going to hit add, and by default Haiku is going to create an event for me. An event is something that is not necessarily an assignment, but rather something that's happening in class. If you have just one section of a class, an event and an assignment are really not different enough that it really matters which one you use. But right now I'm going to show you the difference in terms of how I see it. For one, event happens on a day and can or cannot have a time associated with it. If you want to have a time associated with events, you can. So if you're going on a field trip for 3 hours and you want to show that in their calendars, you can do so. Or you can just have it appear on the day. Events can also be repeat. That doesn't happen with assignments. So if you have a weekly event, or you have a daily quiz, or you have a monthly activity, what have you, you're able to have it repeat and have a end time for that repeat. As with other things, you can decide to publish it to all sections or to just single sections. And finally, you can add more details about this event. So bring your keyboard device and 3-ring binder to class. So this is something that when they click on this event, they will get more information. I can add images, I can add links, I can put a fair amount of detail in here. So the title should be relatively concise, give them a sense of what you're doing for the event or assignment, while the details can give more information. So I'm going to hit save, and on the 9th, here is this event. Now let's say that I have then on the 10th and 11th my first assignments due. I'm going to double click onto this day, and again, quick add allows me to just begin. So day 1, scientific method. I'm going to click add, and I'm going to add this now. Instead of an event, I'm going to change it to an assignment. And this assignment is going to have a reading portion with it. Let's just say page 10 to 15, and it's going to have some questions, or it will have a writing assignment. Be prepared to explain the steps in the scientific method. Again, this is now different as an assignment in that as an assignment, the assumption is that it could be due on different days for different sections. So by default, it's the same day, but by unchecking this, I can select different due dates. So block 1 meets on the 10th, but block 5 does not. This day meets on the 11th. This section meets on the 11th, so I'm going to move this to the 11th. The Dropbox is a feature in Haiku which allows you to submit assignments online. You may or may not want to use that, but you by default have that displayed on the assignment. So by unchecking it, students won't have the ability to hand something in online. If I have a gradebook set up, I can have this assignment be associated immediately with a gradebook entry, which is also different than an event. Since I use gradebooks for Haiku, I will make all of my entries here as assignments rather than events. You can also add Google Docs or files that may be associated with it. So if I had a PDF or I had an image or what have you that I wanted just associated with this assignment, I could attach it here and the students would have access when they clicked on it. When I hit save here, you'll see 2 appear. And again, this is for block 1 and this is for block 5. You may say, how can I tell the difference? Well, I can toggle my view on this calendar so it will look like what block 1 will see, which would be no assignment on the 11th but just on the 10th, or what block 5 would see would be no assignment on the 10th but just on the 11th. The last item I can add to a calendar, a Haiku calendar, is an announcement. An announcement is a little bit different because it does not have a grade assigned with it, obviously, and it doesn't appear on the calendar. Actually, it appears in a different spot. It appears in an announcement block on the portal. I'll show you where, for both students and teachers, and it can appear in other announcement blocks that you put in your Haiku site. So I'm going to make an announcement now, and let's say the announcement's going to be here appearing on the 9th, and it will be bring your keyboard device to class. Add. So I'm going to now change this to an announcement from an event. Again, that is what my announcement will read. If I check always on top, then that of my list of announcements, it will appear on the top. I can have it never expire, or I could have it expire several days after I want the announcement to first appear. So if I'm having it appear now, it can expire on the 11th. That's fine. Again, I can have it published to all sections or just certain sections. So right now, all sections, and I'm going to hit save. Now again, notice nothing happened on my calendar. However, if I go to connect, I can see my list of announcements that I've made. There it is. Now that is not someplace your students are going to go. However, when they log into Haiku on their portal, they will have an announcements box here, which any announcement from any class will appear. And again, this will appear from now, the time I make the announcement, until I have the announcement go away. Now, another thing that's possible is to have an announcement pre-scheduled to appear in this box at some point and then disappear later. So you can set your announcement to in advance to appear and then disappear in this box for your students. I hope that helps in terms of setting up your calendar. One thing that I mentioned last spring and have spoken with several teachers about is a convention is going to be important for us as we use the calendar function. Students are going to have a feed in this space here from all their different classes. One of the things that I suggested last spring is that you make these items on your calendar when things are happening in your class, when they are due or when they are happening. So a student will look at a Tuesday on that feed and know that those are the things that are due that Tuesday, and those are the things that are happening that Tuesday, rather than have these items be things that are signed on that day, have them be due on that day. It's a small, subtle difference, but for students in terms of clarifying what they're seeing, I think it makes the most sense in terms of the system. Thank you very much.